Last night, I had a dream that I never had before. A type of lucid dream that was so real. It's so real that it's even more real than my waking reality that I'm experiencing. I get a lot of lucid dreams almost every single night, but I would experience the dream where things just kept on changing, and I would be aware that it's a dream because just things just kept changing and not making sense, and I would be like, okay, this is a dream and I'm just gonna sit through it. Sometimes it gets a little too weird and too scary or uncomfortable, and I would find a way to shake myself awake, and I would feel my body like a burning sensation around my entire body, but only slightly, and then it fades away after a few seconds. Like it felt like I was out of my body or something. But with this particular dream, everything stood at its place. Now, it started off me realizing that I was having a lucid dream, and I opened my eyes, and the room was quite dark, but I saw some light, slight light, so I knew that like I could see the wall and some of the stuff, and I was resisting thinking this is going to be a nightmare. But what happened was I just told myself, nah, I'm just gonna go with it. And funny enough, in this dream, I had no idea who I was in this waking reality. The Gregory Jean Miguel in this waking reality that lives in Belgium. I just, in that dream, I remember acknowledging of me, but someone else. I woke up on the floor, and it was a room, quite a large sized room. Not as large as the room I have here now. And I saw a guitar, which I knew where that came from. I saw a keyboard, and I saw a bunch of computer screens. One laptop was just connected to a keyboard, and there was another laptop connected to two screens, and there was another smaller laptop, but I was using it for something else. On the right side of my room, by the way, those computer screens, they were like on the far end of the room. Like it was a big desk. I saw a lot of Dr. Pepper cans. But anyway, the right side on the wall hangs a big flat screen TV. And on the left side, there was like a couch, but it can also be folded out into a bed. And I was aware of that, and that I could do that. And I also remember where the couch came from. And also, I was aware that this was a lucid dream, though, too. But the fact that I didn't know me, this Gregory, in this wake reality, you must remember that. And I knew at that very moment that I was not going to remember all the details that I was remembering in that moment as how I got into that room. It was so interesting. I saw a bunch of figurines. Some were made by me, made by wood and painted. And I remember that was I had a phase making those things when I was growing up in high school. Like I remember thinking that. Anyway, the room was pitch black except for the screens were lit on. Also on the TV screen, I was playing Fortnite, which that's a game I never play. And I was looking through some of the discs, old PlayStation games, and one of them was Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, and Final Fantasy IX. So that's interesting. Like, I recognize that I was into Final Fantasy, and I remember playing that in that dream. I digress. Let me continue on where this dream led me. Behind me, there was a huge kitchen sink, and there were some dishes and a bunch of empty bowls. And I had a thing for noodles. And the curtains, right, they were closed, and I could see like it was daylight. because there were some holes in the curtains, and I opened them up, and I saw like a small backyard covered in green vines, and I understood like, oh, I live in Sumter, South Carolina, right? Like I was acknowledging that, and but I didn't really know what I looked like, so I turned to the other room. On my right, I turned to my right, and there was like a bathroom. It was just a shower, a toilet, all in the same bathroom itself. Turned on the lights. Funny enough, I knew where everything was, by the way, but I didn't know what I looked like, and I saw like exactly what I look like now. Only my hair was much longer. I had a much longer beard. I was more skinnier. Um, so I went back into the main big room, and I remember it. Oh yeah, and on the left side of the main room was like a storage room, and it was like that, and also the door um, where you go in and out. Or yeah, how do I explain that? The front door. That's what I meant. Sorry, my English is. It's hard for me to talk in English. I sometimes think in Dutch. So I remember going back in the room, and I was acknowledging how home I felt and how I was very happy. Apparently, in that room, I was a YouTuber, but not a successful one. And I remember thinking, like, I also make electronic music, and now I don't remember all the details of, like, I can't explain. When I was there, I just knew where everything was and how I got there. I knew my location. I knew where my grandparents lived. I didn't live so far from them. I also ended up in a psychiatric hospital at some point, and I was working a part-time job as a pizza delivery. That was another thing. It was Domino's Pizza. And I was really happy about it. You know, I also liked my place because it was so cheap, and I didn't have to work full time, so I can spend more time making a lot of music and art. And I was actually very happy, and I was also very isolated from people, and I didn't mind that. I actually enjoyed the isolation, just like I do here right now. But I remember feeling like, yeah, this is right. This is I like where I'm at. Don't have the desire for having a girlfriend, or didn't want any kids, and I didn't have a lot of contact with my siblings there. In that reality, or in that dream, I would say it's just a dream at the end of the day, but it was so real. Everything stood at its place. That's what's so funny. I never had anything like this before, and it's so weird. Like, I was even acknowledging, I know it's a dream, but I thought this has to be real. Like, I remember looking at my hands. I could smell the noodles, chicken smell in my room. Like, okay, apparently I had noodles a couple hours ago. I was looking through the figurines and looking through the video game boxes. I actually in that dream, I had several SoundCloud accounts. That's like it made me question when I woke up. When I woke up, right, same thing. Like, I wanted to stay in the dream longer, but I had no choice. I was waking up, and I felt that same burning sensation, that not extreme, but like on my body, and I was like, whoa, like. And I remember, oh right, this is me in my waking reality. It's kind of the same in that dream, that version of me. Let's say it's a parallel universe of me, right? I'm gonna stick with that for instance. At the end of the day, it's just a dream, right? I don't want to be so convinced of something and turn cuckoo. But okay, let's say it's a parallel universe. It's like I would have ended up being the same type of person if I have never left the United States, South Carolina, when I was 10 years old. That's probably, I would still end up being an asocial person who makes music, who does YouTube videos. In this reality, I've ended up in 3 different psychiatric hospitals. and I actually have a full-time job here, and I actually love my job. In that parallel universe, I was also happy with my job, only it was a part-time job as a pizza delivery, and I was happy with my life. It's like, and it's funny that I had that dream. It was right after I decided to nuke my second YouTube channel. I was off my path, and during that second YouTube channel, I was constantly having these lucid dreams where things were just chaotic, didn't make sense. Got to a point where I even was asking in the dream itself, being aware of those lucid dreams, asking the question, what is my purpose? I feel so lost. I feel so confused. And I would get more frustrated and just feeling so, I don't know, like, but when I decided to destroy that second YouTube channel, because I was totally off my path, right? Like, that's when I had that dream. It was like everything starts to fall into place. Like, this is, yeah, it's so interesting. And at the end of the day, it's just a dream, right? But on the second YouTube channel, I was trying so hard to make content to get more clout so I can get money and move back to the United States, because I kept thinking, if only I never left South Carolina, my life would have been better. I probably would have been successful or something, but just, I ended up moving in Europe, and things just got more messier and more chaotic, more dramatic, more abusive, and but made me realize, I don't know, it felt like a confirmation from the universe. Like, what if that's a confirmation from the universe? Like, no, Greg, because I was so happy when I decided to just nuke my second channel and continue on with this YouTube channel, like just being completely myself, not chasing cloud, not doing it for the money, just doing it because I love making videos for me. I do it for me. It feels good to do it. I make music for me. I make music the way I like it, not because I'm trying to make it a way where most people would enjoy it, to get on radio and make money. That's just not who I am. I feel like the second channel, I was trying to get people to accept me, but the thing is, I wasn't being true to who I was. The only person that should only accept me is myself at the end of the day. And I had to go through that with the second channel to really appreciate who I am now, as I am at this very moment. I realized, I didn't like the cloud chase. I don't even like all this shit. I don't like it. It's just not in my I'm like, you have people who can do that and could pull it off. Everyone has a role to play in life, I guess, right? But I guess I'm like the Phoebe Buffay from Friends, the weird, quirky girl that just whatever. So it was just weird that I had that dream, and I remember just like it was so weird. It's like it finally answered me. I don't know, what if those universe give me an answer like, nah, if you never left South Carolina, you would have ended up in a psychiatric hospital and gone through the same shit, but in different version, like a much different version. It's a parallel universe, right? I thought that had to be like, I never had a dream where everything stood at its place. Like, I always know it's whenever I was having lucid dreams, like sometimes I would even acknowledge, like, I'm just gonna stare at this mushroom, for instance, that I'm seeing in my dream, but I know it's gonna change every 3 seconds. Like, it'll turn into a car, and eventually I'm the car, and eventually the car is not really a car, but an elephant with giraffe leg, you know what I mean? Like, and I would acknowledge, like, this is just so random, and I started to believe, after having all those lucid dreams, like, maybe the universe is just chaotic, and there's nothing we can do, and never to understand it. But that was a dream where it's like, it was clean cut. Like, it's so weird. I wanted to document this so I can never forget. At the end of the day, it's just a dream, but I'm gonna choose to believe that, I don't know. I'm gonna just believe that it might be a parallel universe of me. I don't know, maybe it was the universe just showing me something. I don't know, man. I have no idea. But whatever. I just wanted to share that. And comment down below if you had something like this before, any of you guys. I'm gonna try to probably look up information about lucid dreams to really get a full understanding, because this is so fascinating. Um, it was not interesting to me because I thought no matter what with lucid dreams, it'll never make sense, right, with me. But that was the first time it made complete sense. Okay, guys, goodbye.